What is the thing that you believe most people get wrong about love and about happy, conscious love?
I think the biggest mistake people make is they assume that love is always a good thing. Like, love doesn't necessarily make your relationship happy. It amplifies whatever emotion is already there. So if it's an unhealthy relationship that's full of jealousy, envy, disrespect, the love will actually amplify that. It'll make the jealousy even worse. It'll make the disrespect more painful. If there's happiness, respect, trust, joy, the love will amplify that. So it's love by itself doesn't fix a relationship. It doesn't necessarily make the relationship good. It takes what's already there and multiplies it by 10.
Wow. I've actually heard that about money, but I haven't heard that with love, where you hear if someone gets more money, it amplifies who they are.
Yeah.
But I've never heard that about love.
Yeah. I mean, I think a lot of it is just the romantic movies and stories. And, we tend to glorify romance a lot, right? We tend to glorify love. But think about it. Like, who are the people who hurt you the most in your life?
People you love.
It's the people you love the most,
man.
right? Like, it's not just romantic partners. It's parents, siblings, kids. Like, it's
friends.
The more you love somebody, the more vulnerable you are, because the more any sort of pain or disrespect or antagonism, it just gets amplified.
Interesting. Have you ever felt in a lot of pain in your current relationship with your wife? Have you felt like...
Of course.
Really?
Yeah, of course. I mean, it's... Here's the thing, like...
But you guys are happy.
Yes.
It's healthy, right?
Yeah, so it's... Pain and conflict is normal across all relationships. I mean, humans are just... We're human, right? So we're gonna pick fights, and one day she's gonna be cranky, or one day I'm gonna be stressed out and turn around and take it out on her. Like, it's there's no such thing as a relationship that you don't have bumps in the road or some sort of conflict. What determines whether a relationship is healthy or not is how quickly you recover from those bumps or those conflicts and move on from it.
You repair, how quickly you repair the pain. Now, this is something I think is fascinating, because I don't think there's a lot of relationships where someone in the relationship, you're kind of at equal levels, financially, maybe notoriety or success, but then all of a sudden, one person in a relationship gets this overwhelmingly amount of success and awareness the way you did. Not many people in the world experience that.
Sure.
How did you navigate staying in a healthy, happy relationship, or maybe you weren't able to for a period of time, as you started to sell millions of copies of your book? You're on all the press and everyone wants to talk about you, and you're making more money than you ever had before.
Yeah.
Where it wasn't as equal financially or success-wise. How did you guys navigate love with you accelerating that?
It's funny, that really didn't put a whole lot of stress on the relationship.
Really?
And I think a lot of it, so what I've noticed, and this isn't limited to romantic partnerships, this is every relationship in life. And I don't know, maybe you've experienced some of this, but like, when you experience a lot of success, professionally, reputation, financially, whatever, the way the people around you react is very reflective of their relationship to their own wealth, financial success, fame, whatever, right? So what I noticed is that people in my life who judged themselves by how much money they made suddenly got weird around me.
Really?
Whereas people who didn't judge themselves by how much money they made they were happy for me. They're totally cool with it, not a big deal. People who very much judged themselves by how famous they were, how much attention they got weird, a little bit of jealousy, a little bit of envy. People who didn't give a shit about that, they're like, cool, happy for you, man.
Yeah.
So with my wife, we're very fortunate in that was never, honestly, like, she's an immigrant. I think moving to the United States and dealing with the culture shock and the cultural differences and language barriers, I think that's been a bigger challenge than simply,
Really?
my success. She's just been incredibly supportive, very happy for me. No sort of like, now I think give myself a little bit of credit here, because it's not just, she hasn't just been amazing about it, but also I didn't let it go to my head, right? Like, I think the other side of it is, if I came home from a book tour or something and she's like, hey, can you take out the trash? And I'm like, do you know who I am? Like,
Right.
this is beneath me.
Right.
Like, how dare you ask me to take out the garbage?
Might hurt the relationship. Yeah.
That also causes problems. So I think it requires both people to keep perspective about what it actually means.
Experiencing what you've experienced now with the success and the money that has come. You didn't have that before you got married, right?
No.
Would you have any different conversations, or would you have, I don't know, set more ground rules or anything like that, knowing what you know now? Or would you give anyone else advice or an opinion about, hey, if one of you is really driven in a relationship to go earn or create or be a famous artist or whatever, and that might happen in the future, here are some things you should talk about to be aware of those changes. What would you share?
I think I think it's very important to have deep discussions about, and this is probably good for any marriage, like whether somebody's driven or not, this is probably healthy for every marriage, is like, have some very deep and serious discussions of what money means to each person. Some people put a lot of their self-esteem into money. Some people don't. Some people are very conservative with money. Some people are not. Some people have a lot of moral beliefs around money, right? Like, if you make too much money, you should give it all away, or that means you're selfish, or, whatever. Some people don't have those sorts of moral beliefs tied with money. So I think it's probably the most important thing is just get very, very clear with your partner. What are each other's beliefs around finances and wealth? Especially because, the number one cause of divorce is financial differences.
Isn't that crazy?
Yeah.
So it doesn't matter how much you love someone, but people will get hurt or break up because of money.
Yeah, I guess.
So love isn't enough.
It's not enough.
I think in your video, which I'm going to link up, where you talk about love and relationships with your wife, which I think is powerful, you mentioned how love is, I think your wife said love is 50% of the equation to making a happy relationship, a healthy relationship. And I think for you is like 35 or 40% or something. And then I think you mentioned values as being a big part and a few other things. Do you remember what those were for you besides values and other things that make a healthy relationship?
My hierarchy for relationships, and this is, people can find this in my books and my courses, like, it's trust and respect are tied for number one.
Yeah.
You can love somebody I think most people have had an experience in their life where they've loved somebody very deeply, but they didn't trust them, and it doesn't work. It doesn't matter how much you try, how much effort you put in, how much you cry and argue and fight. It's like, if the trust isn't there, it doesn't work.
Yes.
And if the respect isn't there, it's not healthy. Two people can love each other, but if they don't respect each other, they're going to treat each other like,
yeah.
And they're going to justify treating each other like, or they're going to justify tolerating being treated like, by saying, well, I love them so much.
Oh, man.
And maybe it's my fault. Maybe I deserve this, right? And so, I think most of us have been in that relationship before too, and it doesn't.
A few times.
Yeah, it doesn't. It doesn't end well.
Yeah,